Hello everybody, how's it going? It's me, Crendor, and welcome back to more WoW leveling. That's right, we're getting the final Midsummer Fire Festival in before it goes away. Dude, this happens every year. I'm like, oh, we got the Midsummer Fire Festival. I got so much time to get this all done. And then, before you know it, it's the final day, and I'm like, dude, I gotta record that WoW leveling. We gotta get those Eastern Kingdom fires, you know what I'm saying? So, here we are. It's just, it's just a testament to time. Speaking of which, remember the time when you would warp here and you'd go to the Undercity instead of I hate this version. I honestly hate this version of Tearsfall because it always just warps you out here. Then you try to like go in there and then you have to talk to her. It's all glitched out and it's dumb. And I don't like it. So let's I don't even know where the fire is here. Let's just go to, oh wait, it's in Brill. That's right. So now I have to talk. Because then you like fly back in here. Now wait, now is it normal? I think. This place is so glitchy, dude. I do not understand. Whatever, you know what? We're finding the fire right over here. There it is. Neat. Okay, so now let's head over to this one as well. So yeah, I've been playing WoW just to do the Legacy Mount July event currently, and you know what? I've gotten the Blue Proto Drake and I've gotten Baron Rivendare's mount. So hey, so far pretty good. We got the rest of July to get the rest of those mounts, so that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with what I got. Wait, where's the fire thing here? Is it on the other side? Oh, here it is. Yippee! Alright, complete that one. And I think the Alliance one is right down here. Alright. But yeah, it's been good. I'm hoping I get Invincible and Mimron's Head and all the ones that take way too long to run the place and then see if you get the mount or not. They should, I mean, it wouldn't even be that bad if they added skips. I really think they need to add a few more skips to a lot of these older raids. But, I mean, doing events like this is also pretty cool. I like this. There we are. Especially Ice Crown. It's like 20 minutes to see if you get your mount. All right, then we got right over here in the hinterlands. Oh, it's over here. Let's go up. And over. Oh, we're in Airy Peak. That's right. We go down. Okay. Let's put this one out. Oh, no. We're in attack. Hold on. Feign death. You guys need to just stop attacking. Although, wait, hold on. This one, I think, should die pretty easily. There we go. Cool. Wow, and we get a hollow wing bone. It's our lucky day. Whoop. Okay, now let's head on over to this fire and put that one out. Man, I love the hinterlands. What a great zone. Just a nice mountainy, foresty type of zone. Big fan. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the event. So that's been cool. Just trying to get some mounts. Yo, Jetwing. I don't even know who Jetwing is. Let's see. What else have I been doing? I mean, outside of Midsummer Fire Festival. Oh, that's what I was gonna say, dude. I'm all over the place right now. Sorry. Midsummer Fire Festival is like such a fun event for me, but at the same time, I just keep flying by. There's like random ass shit. It always just goes by too fast. But I feel like that's kind of a lot of things in life. I feel like so many things in life are like, dude, I'm looking forward to this thing. And then it's like this big build up and then it happens. And you're like, that was really cool. Then you move on. And I feel like a lot of times in life, people tell you to live in the moment, right? They're like, just live in the moment, appreciate the moment. And like, I genuinely do try to live in the moment and appreciate the moment. As you can tell, as somebody who makes videos about grass, right? But even when you appreciate the moment, sometimes you think back and you're like, did I appreciate it enough? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I appreciate the moment, but I feel like maybe I didn't appreciate it enough. But it's like, you can only appreciate it so much. Like, there's a limit to how much you can appreciate something. Also, I need to change this to older out the Highlands. Oh boy. So it's always this weird dichotomy, because I'm like, I really enjoyed this event, you know what I mean? But I'm like, could I have enjoyed it more? Maybe I didn't enjoy it enough. So I think when a lot of people tell you to appreciate the moment, there's some people that probably don't appreciate the moment. They're just like, whatever, and they look back. But then there's people like me where like, I do try to appreciate the moment, but then I don't know if I did it right. I'm like, did I do it right? I guess I did, because I look back and I was like, that was a cool thing.
Farewell.
Right? It's such a weird... Yeah, I feel like people love to tell other people what to do. This is, I mean, obviously, right? That's a very common thing. But I'm mainly talking about, like, it's the live, laugh, love, right? People are like, just live, laugh, love. But, like, are those people living, laughing, and loving? Maybe some are, but I think a lot of them aren't. It's like there are people have shirts that are like, smile more. Like I remember hearing Bill Burr do a thing. He's like, don't tell me what to do. Right? Like, just live your own life. You don't got to tell me what to do. I know what I'm doing. To a degree. All right. All right, we got that. You know, I get another recipe pass, sure. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with talent points, that's for sure. But like, just it's like people doing that in video games or something. Just like imagine wearing a shirt that just said like, play the game, enjoy the game. I don't even know how they would do that. Like, what's the equivalent of live, laugh, love in World of Warcraft? Like raid, log in, raid. I don't know. I think I've gone too deep down this rabbit hole. Also, I didn't put out these fires. We got to go over here. We'll come back to... Oh, that's Zadormi. I see. She's just there to do the thing. So let's go do these, and then I'll loop back around. I should have... I guess I would have had to go up there anyway. It doesn't really matter. But it's... you know what else it is? There's a lot of YouTubers and influencers like this, right? Where it's almost like they tell you what to do, or like they're sharing their wisdom or something, but like they don't know. Right? They don't know anything. For the most part, they'll just be like, I went on this journey to find myself, and then I found myself. And then like 2 years later, they make another video like, I'm finding myself. It's like, what happened to the last time? Did they like, not that they think they found themselves, but they didn't? And I think the reason they do that is because some people are always trying to find themselves. And I feel like part of that is due to never being content. And honestly, never really living in the moment. Because I feel like finding yourself a lot of the time is just accepting who you are and then just like growing and like learning and observing and just like trying to be a better person and learn from your experiences in life. And I feel like that's it. And I feel like that in itself can be finding yourself. Because I think too many people act like finding yourself is almost like finding happiness. They're like, I gotta find happiness. Like, well, happiness is just an emotion. You can be happy, you know, eating a chocolate bar. Like, I'm happy. But then like 10 seconds later, you can be sad, something. Like, it's just it's waxing and waning, right? It's like anything. You're gonna have numerous emotions. It's just, I think people want to be happy more often than not. They want it to be their primary emotion, which I guess I can understand. But like, if you're happy too much, then you can't, it makes you appreciate it less. That's why I live in a constant state of trying to just be content. Because if you're content, then you're like, hey, you know what? This is pretty cool. And then when you're happy, you're like, yo, this is really cool. But then when you're sad, you're like, oh man, this kind of sucks. But then you always try to get back to that baseline contentment. So I feel like I should wear a shirt that just says be content. But I wouldn't do that because it's dumb. Anyway. I was like, yeah, I don't even know how I started talking about that. Oh yeah, I think live, laugh, love. But how do I don't know. Whatever. This reminds me of doing World of Crendor. Remember World of Crendor? I would just fly around and answer people's questions. But the thing was, back then, I was kind of like those influencers that I was just talking about. Like, I didn't really know that much. I hadn't really gone through life, right? And I mean, compared to other people, you're always going to be either ahead of somebody or behind somebody in terms of their life experience. But I feel like it's like anything, where if you just listen and observe and grow, then you can just become a better person no matter the situation. And I think that's what people ought to be striving for, is just constantly observing and learning and bettering it. I mean, it's like a book, right? It's like, that's the entirety of like stories and stuff, is character is this way, they go through a journey and they come out different and better and, you know, just like a better person, and like they've grown. And that's kind of what it is. Your life is just like a constant story. I think that's why people like stories. But then it's like people trying to find themselves are almost, sometimes it feels like they're trying to force a story onto themselves. Like, I gotta find myself. It's like, sometimes you just gotta let it happen, right? And the other problem is if you're a content creator trying to find yourself, these top 10 tips to find yourself today, right? Is that you're trying to profit off it. You're trying to like monetize finding yourself. And I feel like that alone is hindering finding yourself, right? Maybe that's the roadblock they're in. They're in this loop of trying to find yourself by vlogging it or streaming it or something, and then the biggest process is that they need to stop doing that in order to truly find themselves. Damn. Okay, there we go. I've seen, there's like a few YouTubers. I got on this topic because I think I saw one the other day of somebody like, things I would say to my younger self, or like things I would talk to, but like they've made so many of those videos before. So it's like, well, you're doing this, number one, probably because it makes money on the internet, right? So that's got to be one of the big things. And then number two is maybe I guess they just keep updating it, right? That they keep updating the list. Like, here's the things I said last time to my old self. Now here's a new list of things I'm going to say to my old self, which I guess that would actually make sense. Like, they constantly update the list. I could see that. But then they should call it, like, more things I'm telling myself. Also, these are some really cool buildings. Look at this. It's like big stone rock building. I got to write this down. I guess it's more of a cave. But it's actually kind of a building. I need to write this down for a pointless top 10. More weird houses in World of Warcraft. Let's go up here. All right. Also, dude, the amount of YouTuber, Twitch people, influencers that are like, I got to take a break, and they disappear for like 10 years. It's crazy. I could get it if like maybe they're going through, so they have like so many different fans and viewers, and like they're getting, you know, stalkers and shit, or like actual things that are gonna, you know, mentally drain you, right? But like some of them, they're just like, oh, I had to work, I had to stream 3 hours today, I need a vacation in the Bahamas. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, they forget what it's like to be an actual person in the world, you know? Like, there's another one. I never forget the amount of my retail stories. I always say, if you just worked 1 month of retail in your life, the amount of sanity I think people would maintain, because like, if you work retail and you realize how shitty it is, then that would help other people treat the retail workers better. So like, oh man, I know what you're going through now. I feel like a lot of them don't know what they're going through. Like, every time I'm in a retail establishment, like whatever, or like food, you know, fast food, normal, like whatever, it's like, I just think back to when I worked at Dick's Sporting Goods, or when I worked at Circuit City, right? I even made those references in my It's a Hard Gnome Life video way back in the day. And it's just like, the amount of people that just, I can tell the Kung Fu Panda story. I feel like I've told this at some point in WoW leveling. I've definitely told it on my live streams, where I was working at Circuit City. This lady comes in, all right? She says, where's Kung Fu Panda? Okay, we're going out of business. This is Circuit City. We're in the final month of existing. I don't give a shit about this company. They're going out of business. But they're like, hey, you can work here for the holidays. I'm like, all right, cool. So I literally worked there for the holiday. But this lady, again, comes in, says, where's Kung Fu Panda? I'm like, that's a new movie. We're going out of business. We don't get new movies. Because why would you get new movies if you're going out of business? You can't get new stuff. The company is bankrupt. Right? And she goes, I bet Best Buy would have Kung Fu Panda. And I'm like, holy shit. She figured it out. Wow. I bet they would too. Like the brain power, the critical thinking, to just be like, to act like I work at Circuit City, like my dad owns it or some shit. Like, your company doesn't have this. It's like, lady, we're going out of business. I would go to Best Buy right now. Like, I'd leave this job and go buy to Best Buy too. All right. I don't know. And the thing is, you might think like, oh, that might have just been one random person. There was like so many of them every day, like so many different crazy ass people that you would just constantly get. And it was insane. Like, it was genuinely insane. So I always, from those like combined I guess it was a little over a month of working retail. That was enough for me to just be like, dude, I never want to do this ever again. So I salute the the retail and food establishment workers on this day, on this 4th of July, the true heroes. I'm telling you, 1 month mandatory retail service. It'd be great. Let's see. And you would get paid still, all right? I know there'd probably be some like corporate thing of like Walmart determines you will not be paid for your mandatory service or something, right? Okay. Oh wait, gotta go over here.
Blood and thunder.
Turn that in. And we go down here. Okay. Oh, these are like really close together too. It's pretty easy. Let's do that. You know what the crazy thing is, I think, with this WoW leveling series is you really can just go back in time and just see, you can truly see my journey of like developing as a person. And I honestly think that's really cool. Because there's like so many people, they'll go through life and they'll have kids and they'll talk to their kid, be like, yeah, you know, back in the day I used to be like this. And sure, they have like family videos of like some events and stuff, but you don't get like the same degree of progression, because this isn't just like a once every couple of year family video. This is like straight up, you can go back and hear me be like, hello everyone, episode 1 of WoW leveling, and just watch like over a decade of just character development. That's all it is, character development. Speaking of which, I've been writing a book. I don't know if I mentioned that last time. I've been writing a book for a while, but now I'm like actually writing a book. Because like, I think the one thing, there's a few things that truly help you become a writer. I say as somebody who hasn't published a book yet. This is more of like, listen, okay? I'm not trying to write any New York Times bestsellers. I'm just one of the people that always feels like everybody has the ability to like write. Like, I think everybody has the ability to write a book. And I feel like everybody should write a book at some point in their life. Even if it's not a long book, maybe like a short story, a short novel, an actual novel. It doesn't have to be like a 10-part fantasy series or something, or a trilogy or anything like that. But I feel like it's cool to have people, do like some sort of creative outlet type of thing. I think that'd be neat too. Mandatory retail and mandatory the novel writing. But it kind of taught me a similar life lesson, which was sometimes you just have to take action, right? Because so many people will learn about something and never do it. I feel like there's probably a lot of people do that now with streaming and YouTube and anything like that. They'll learn everything they can about it. Be like, how do I start my channel? How do I stream? How do I do this? How do I do that? Right? And you just keep researching. You're like, how do I, like, literally anything. You could, that's probably just a main example, I guess. I don't know. But then when it comes to actually doing the thing, everything kind of freezes up, right? It's like you can read about swimming and how to swim properly, how to be really good at swimming. Whoa, that hurt. You know, you can learn different swimming techniques. You can learn so much about swimming, but then you're not going to actually learn how to swim until you fall into the water. Or, you know, you'll learn how to swim if you fall into the water. If you actually, you know, get into the water is what I'm saying. Right? You have to get into the water to learn how to swim. And it's kind of like that. And I think that was kind of my issue with writing. I watched so many videos on writing and like Brandon Sanderson classes and, you know, all this stuff. And I just wouldn't write. And then maybe I'd write a little bit and I'd be like, actually, I don't know what I'm writing. I want to write this book because I had a cool idea. And I think that's part of it. People get really cool ideas, but then they're like, oh, I have to like execute the idea now, right? That's the hard part. It's the whole like ideas are cheap, you know. And that's kind of what I thought back on even with machinimas. I used to have ideas and stuff, and then I'd write down and kind of plan it all out. But then I'd be like, all right, let's get this going. Sometimes, some days I wouldn't want to make a machinima. Some days I wouldn't want to do things. But then you just go, hey, you know what? Let's do it. Like we had, like let's get it going. And so I started doing that with writing, and then I just started progressing, and now I'm actually writing the book. But it helps. I'm actually glad I waited, because all those lessons and videos and everything about writing has actually helped me to, I feel like, be a better writer. That, and then you might not believe this, but reading has also helped me to be a better writer as well. So it's been nice. If you're wondering what my book is, it is a fantasy book about magical fishing. And I chose that because I was listening to a lot of writers talk about, Brandon Sanderson also said this, but he was like, a lot of people get an idea and they try to world build and they try to do all these things, right? And they try to like overplan, but he's like, just think of a fun idea and think of a lot of tropes that you enjoy writing or watching or whatever it might be, and then just do that, right? And then who cares if it's good or not, because you'll actually be doing something you enjoy and having fun doing it. And so that's what I did. I was like, you know what, let's do magical fishing. And I want it to be, you know, kind of like a little bit of a D&D-esque type thing with a party, a group of people. And then I also wanted it to be like kind of treasure hunty, you know, like they're going on a treasure hunt for this magical, you know, like golden fish or super fish, whatever. I haven't, you know, fully developed, but like, you know, the fish is the treasure. So this party, like this D&D party, is like, hey, we need this guy so we can get the treasure. So they're like, hey, you know, we need you, come help us. And, you know, obviously there's more story behind it than that. Like there's reasons why he's gonna go here, and you know, he's not just like, okay, like there's actually reasons for him wanting to do this. And then I kind of play around with the tropes of characters as well. Like obviously in D&D types of parties, or even a lot of like anime shows, I guess, they kind of have the trope of D&D now. Like D&D's become like a big thing, which I guess it also ties into WoW, right? You have the warrior and the priest and the druid and all this stuff. But I was like, wouldn't it be fun if instead of having like some knight or hero on this journey, you just had like a dark lord, or like maybe a dark lord that used to be a dark lord and then he like got captured and kind of, you know, renewed himself, or maybe he stopped doing it for some reason. So I have one guy that's like a former dark lord, but he still does like some crazy shit, and you're like, oh my god, like he's a dark lord, but he's like, you're like, you know, he's trying, right? Like he's bettering himself. Oh wait, I didn't even put out the other one. Or was it? Is it over here? Oh yeah, it's over here. And then I have like the wizard, but I thought of like, how could I have like this old mentor wizard, but make him different, right? Put my own spin on it. And I thought, I always complain about my health stuff, my gallbladder, my heartburn, my knee, and I was like, what if there was a wizard that just also was really old, and he just also can play. He like sprained his, like he cast magic and he like sprains his arm casting magic or casting spells, and then he's just like really old, so like he doesn't even care about the treasure. He just wants to go on an adventure and have fun. But he just like, he's the type of character where he just like keeps talking, you know. Everybody knows somebody that just keeps talking. So I thought that was fun. And then I thought having a druid, like a druid girl who like loves animals and the forest ever, but she has like a temper, like an anger problem. So you always think of druids as like tranquil and like, you know, peaceful, but then she just like gets mad and just goes crazy, especially when people hurt animals or something. So that's kind of the characters I've fleshed out right now that I'm working with. It's open to change depending, right? But that's what I mean, where it's like it's fun to just kind of create characters and play around with tropes that you enjoy and like make your own versions of them. And even doing things like in terms of like, what am I trying to say? Creating controversy in unique ways, right? So like, for example, I was at a part of my book where I was like, maybe they're like in a forest, right? And I'm like, well, what would happen in this forest? You know, like here, I was like, okay, they're in a forest. And I think your brain almost kind of defaults sometimes to just generic stuff. Like maybe an elf shows up, right? Or like maybe there's a wild animal that attacks them or something. But then I started thinking about like mythical creatures and like different types of mythologies. And then I just started like blending it all together. Like what if there was a monkey that was like swinging from the trees, but he's a demon? But like, no, what if he's a goat man, but he's got monkey arms like a beast man from Warhammer? But like, wait, what if he's got like no eyes, but he like sees them? And you just start like going crazy with shit like that. And then you're like, dude, this is awesome, right? You just, it's like you just start using your imagination and having fun with it, which is why I hate when people are just like, I wrote my book because I have an idea and I wrote it with AI. Like, don't do that. It's just, and then it just all sounds the same, because like that's part of the fun of like all these games like D&D or role playing or, you know, writing, is that you create your own thing. And when you just go, oh, I'll let the AI do it, that takes the entire like fun and creative process out of it, just so you can get your idea down that you actually don't want to put the time and effort into, which ties back to the thing where you just gotta, you know, do what you gotta do. Otherwise, you don't even learn anything. So anyway, I'm working on my book, and it's going well. So I'm actually hoping to finish the rough draft this year. So I actually have a sample of it up on my Patreon, patreon.com/Crendor. I wasn't even planning to promote this, I swear. For $5, you can read part of my first chapter. So if you want to actually see my writing style, you go check it out there. And you know, that first chapter might actually change along the way. It probably will, but it's just, that's part of the fun, I think, is also revising it. Like I've written and rewritten so many parts of the book already, and I think that's one of the things I also had to learn, is sometimes you'll write something and you get so attached to what you've written and it just doesn't work, and you have to admit to yourself, like, dude, this just doesn't work. And then you just go back and say, hey, you know what, let's change it up, right? And then it ends up working that way, and you're like, okay, cool. Like, you can always change stuff, and I think that's really cool, be like having that freedom to kind of do that. And you know, being able to just let go, as the movie Frozen says, let it go. So if you're working on writing and you get stuck somewhere, don't be afraid to just like let it go and write something else or move on, or even write like a few variations of a scene that you might really enjoy. That's another technique, I guess, that has been pretty nice. All right, well, I've done it. I've flown around the Eastern Kingdoms and lit and put out many fires. We've got level 64. Let's go. Dude, and we're at the pointless top 10 statue. Let's fly over here, actually. Whee. Uh-oh. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. This is definitely a way to end an episode. So also I realized we didn't go up here, but whatever. I can't fly there, so I don't really care. And Vazir's Vazir. So thanks for listening to this episode. This is a very, you know, World of Crendor, old school ranting about stuff type of episode. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And completing that Midsummer Fire Festival. Now me and my pets are dead here at the pointless top 10 statue. But you know what? Next time we'll be revived. And my pet also just keeps reviving anyway. So I'll see you next time. Okay? Okay. See ya.